Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a squat day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. Alright, let's get over to the training. Pretty happy with today's training. Went ahead and went up to a 510. We're almost getting out of training max territory here, particularly without sleeves, but the main thing is getting a nice heavy single end that's not a max. Working on syncing it, trying to find my exact foot positions for the best knee stacking, and I think I've got it here. I've got the low bar where I want it because I switched over to the low bar. You know, I've got to get used to that. I've got to find those sweet spots. I think we've got it today. But did 510, sank it well below parallel, had really good knee stacking at the bottom. You know, people ask a few things like, oh, are you pausing at the moment? These aren't true pause squats. Like, if you guys think these are pauses, you're going to really get red lighted in competition on your bench because these wouldn't count as a pause on the bench. It's not enough time. But yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm syncing it. And you know, once I have knee sleeves on, because I run the SBD sleeves, I get a lot out of those, I feel like. So for me, it'll pop me right out of the bottom. I'm not worried. Also, I'm not even that worried about my quads. It's one reason, you know, supplemental squatting is there with just enough to stimulate quad growth, but I get it from the belt squats, get it from the deadlifts, get it from sled drags. I just got done dragging my sled before I voiced over. So, you know, as soon as I finished the last set, I ran down and did, you know, a few minutes of sled dragging. So that is my quad work, and I'd like to do it on deadlift days too. So I'm not real worried about that. But if we watch this squat, happy with it. Nice, good control, chest up on the way down, good depth, perfect knee stacking, well below parallel. You know, chest in a pretty good position on the way up. You can tell it's getting a little heavy for me, but not 100%. Not grindy. We had good bar speed. So it's still in training max bar speed territory. Then I came over just to show you guys. It's a Texas squat bar. Some people question the weight. It's a 55-pound squat bar. It's clearly the Texas squat bar. After that, doing belt squats, and I'm doing a lot of 5x5 right now, and kind of what I'm doing is this stuff I may discuss later. It just has to do with what's the minimum number of reps I need to continue to get bigger and stronger. And one of the reasons I'm messing a little more with the fives, and I'm working really on deep ranges of motion. So I'm trying to really focus on mechanical tension for hypertrophy, looking at a lot of things like that of going, okay, even what guys like Dave Tate point out as we get a little older, minimizing the number of deep movements that you do, deep knee bends, deep elbow bends, all these things are how we save joints, so we maximize stimulus. So in this case, a 5x5 is fewer total repetitions. We get a lot of quality reps. Getting heavy enough for mechanical tension, but notice everything is deep, right? I'm trying to go basically as deep as I can, as wide as I can. In fact, you guys will notice on these belt squats, I take on my hair wider than my squats. Why? Because we can. If we can get that extra width, we not only get the quads, we get the adductors more, the glutes. And what's going to matter more on your squat? Particularly a power squat. Adductors and glutes. And I'm not saying quads don't matter, but the research shows that the other two muscles get the most hypertrophy and stimulus even on an Olympic squat. So we go to a power squat, we need to maximize them. And I've got to think in terms of making sure my glutes and adductors really, really get a lot of stimulus. Support musculature. I'm going to keep building the hamstrings to get that bounce out of the bottom. Okay, especially with those sleeves on. Hamstrings make or break me. They also kind of, if you look at where my sticking point is in the deadlift, okay, a lot of hamstrings matters there. But we're still getting quad, and I want that to be clear. We did a heavy single. We attenuated the upper threshold fibers, 5 quality sets. That's really 6 sets for quads. You know, if we think about the deadlifts and then the sled drags after each workout, we're up there still, right? We're in that sweet spot, the low end of the optimal range, which is where I want to be. Take the optimal range and say, where's the bottom of that optimal range? Okay. But again, what do you notice? Everything is deep. So we try to get the deepest positions possible, but we say, what's the fewest reps I can do? What if we control our eccentrics a little more? What if everything is a deeper range of motion? What if we keep the reps low and everything fairly heavy? All right, we're doing less deep movements on the joint, but they're all stimulatory. They're all giving training stimulus. My chins are the same way, so I did chins after this. I'm going to do chins on my squat and deadlift days mostly because I really want to bench specialize a little more, but my shoulders and stuff are better with only one day. I think we all know this. I want my bench day to be dedicated purely to improving my bench. I don't want to waste any energy on this other stuff while still getting my chins, and chins still carry over to my bench. They carry over to my deadlift. So I haven't even looked at the footage yet on these. So today I went with, because I've been doing these from a dead hang in the morning now, going over to my dead hang. This is my deepest range of motion. This is a full stretch for me. And the last rep or two, I really try to pause it at the bottom. That is a full stretch for me. That is the longest range of motion my joints will go. So we take it there. We go all the way to it. Pause on the bottom if we have to a little bit. Five sets of 5. All right, leaving a couple reps in reserve. We're in our sweet spot. This should grow biceps, and I might start adding some strict curls in, maybe on deadlift day, some of the weeks. But if I do 5 sets of this both days, lats, biceps, grip are getting trained really well. But we're getting the deepest stretch that I can go to. For me, that is full elbow lock. And it's something, again, I hate arguing with people. I've proven it to judges. For record purposes, meet purposes, it counts. Because I've shown them, demonstrated, and I follow their rules on it. That is my lockout. Those are dead hangs. That's my elbows. And that's just my bone structure. Nothing you can do about it. But we get the stretch because that then puts the stretch on the bicep. I want that stretch because that gives us the most bicep stimulus. I need the biceps bigger for my benching. I need the stretch at the bottom to improve the deadlift safety. And this gives me a lot of back development. This handles my rear delts. It handles my lats, most of my traps. Okay. If we get 10 good sets of these, and on a couple of the mornings I can get up and do, kind of an AMRAP. I'll focus some of those mornings a little more on some ab work. But 5 sets of 5. Do this twice a week. It gives me 10 sets, but we're following back to that same rule. We're looking at where's the tension at? Where's the peak tension? Where's the stretch overload? We're focusing on that. So again, maximizing mechanical tension while still being in that hypertrophy sweet spot. Okay, this is how we get bigger and stronger. This is how we do it and recover. Because these are reasonable volumes. All right, we do the same thing. Glute ham raise. Now, why the glute ham raise here? I thought about doing reverse hypertrophy, but I'm like, I don't need them. The glute ham raises really do a lot for me. I get the most hamstring stimulus out of this. I get adductor out of it, and it does work the low back. We do get low back work. If I'm worried about low back, I have this. I have deadlifts on my deadlift day. I think we're good, and I'll do these maybe even on my deadlift days too. As long as I keep them limited to this, my hamstrings don't cramp. As long as I keep the electrolytes up. Hey, I hate these because they make my hamstrings cramp, but a lot of times it's because I do too much other stuff with them. Let's focus upon the movements that work. Best hamstring exercise ever. It also works glutes. And I feel my adductors on these. Again, muscles we need for the squat. We need the hamstrings to stabilize the squat. We need it for the deadlift. Okay. This will still improve my squats. Like, I don't even need the rep work on the squats. The heavy work does it. And then I focus on stuff that we can recover from. These are traction-based exercises. Okay, we're going to see a trend here. Everything else I did today is traction. Everything else today we did are very efficient movements that work all the functions of the muscle. All right, think about what happened with the biceps and the lats and stuff there on the chins. Think about what we see on the glute ham raise. Works all the functions of the hamstring, and it also gives really good carryover to things like the glutes and the adductors. Because I do them with a fairly wide knee, that gives me a little more adductor. I feel the adductors a lot. And then I go drag a sled. And the sleds, I'm not as worried about the number of reps. Why? Because there's not the deep joint angle. No deep joint angle. It's just conditioning. Getting the metabolic fatigue off that. So everything else is lower rep. It all adds up. All of this training style, this is very easy to recover from. We should continue to get stronger from it. and we're stressing most of these muscles through multiple functions and at their deepest mechanical tension angles, which is very important. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.